Hi there folks, my name is NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 20th of May 2018 with another action-packed and exciting fun-filled episode. We are going to jump straight into it this week with the ESP Platforms with the latest release from the Orbix family. So this week we saw the release of KVUO Pearson Field. So Pearson Field comes to us from the hand of Bill Womack from iBlue Yonder fame, who's recently re-teamed back up with Orbix. Now this airfield is a very historical airfield and a quirky little GA airfield in the Pacific Northwest region of the United States, and it's actually, I didn't realize this, is actually officially the oldest community airport in the region and one of the two oldest operational airfields in the US. Like, that's just really cool. The attention to detail that's gone into this looks absolutely amazing. It really does, and definitely something that we've come to expect from Bill in his productions with iBlue Yonder and his previous productions with Orbix. So a very talented developer, a great guy, and he's really come to brought this airfield to life with an incredible amount of detail. Not only do you get the airport itself, you also get the surrounding area, and again, something that I really appreciate when senior developers do this, because it's part of what brings an airfield to life. It's not just the airfield itself, but the surrounding area. So to that end, they've actually produced a whole heap of the many unique landmarks in the area, including the I-5 bridge. You've got an old US Army fort has been put in there. And they've also used the Orbix's new city scene technology to actually do a reproduction of downtown Vancouver, Washington as well as a full coverage of Hayden Island in Oregon as well, so as part of the 12 square miles of photoreal terrain. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this airfield, and as I said, it's just been released and looking absolutely outstanding. Really looking forward, hoping I might be able to bring a review of this to you in the near future. I hope so too. But yes, it comes through with a whole heap of custom static aircraft, custom details for not only the airport, high resolution photos, high resolution textures based on real photos of the airport, along with a lot of the landmarks of the city of Vancouver and surrounding area and bridges, etc. have all been included as well. So there's a lot of high details coming here, and again, if you're a fan of the Pacific Northwest region and GA flying in Pacific Northwest region, this is pretty much a guaranteed must-have for you. It really is. So this one is being released for the ESP platforms, available now from the Orbix Direct web store, coming in at 33 Australian dollars, or your regional equivalent, available now. And before I leave this one, if you are wondering, Bill has confirmed that he is working on an X-Plane 11 version of this. So X-Plane 11 users, you have not been forgotten. You will rejoice soon, because it will be coming to you shortly. So, but in the meantime, it is just for the ESP users. Alright, continuing on with other ESP releases for this week, the guys over at Malaysian Flight Sim Group have released another scenery. Now, we brought out one of their sort of forays. They sort of normally focus on, funnily enough, Malaysian scenery, but recently they've been foraying out into Japanese scenery. So I'm starting to wonder, and as I said, there's two Japanese airport releases this week in the NovaWrap, and I'm starting to wonder if Japan is going to be the new Italy in terms of scenery releases, because we're starting to see a lot of Japanese airports starting to be actually modelled here in the flight simulation world. So it could be interesting. But this one comes to, as I said, from the from Malaysian Flight Sim Group. Now this is for the Miyazaki Airport, or Romeo Juliet Victor, Foxtrot Mike. So this one is about 3 kilometers south east of Miyazaki, in the Miyazaki Prefecture of Japan. Not a lot of detail I could find on much on this one, but essentially it's a fairly interesting one. Now, I've got mixed feelings about this release here. So it's a reasonably priced release, coming in at around about $18 US, so fairly low end for as far as scenery costing goes. But something that I've really noticed here, although they're claiming to be a highly detailed rendition of the airport, the screenshots that I've got now. I haven't put this in a sim, so I can't tell so I haven't sort of actually had close-up inspection of this one. But it just seems that some of the texture work is absolutely outstanding, and some of it really isn't. And it very much is just the airport. It's not the surrounding area. The surrounding area hasn't been modelled. The surrounding landmarks or anything like that haven't been done. It is strictly focused on just the airport. But they do claim that it is a highly detailed rendition of the airport. And I must admit though that the dynamic lighting in Prepared V4 does look quite nice, particularly on the main terminal building, and the fact that it's got the airport bar has an aeroplane actually on the roof, which is kind of cool, kind of awesome. But yes, so as I said, it's looking pretty good. It does have seasonal variations for its photoreal scenery and ground poly for the airport area. What is interesting about this one though is that it has static jetways only, so it doesn't use the default sim jetways, nor is it compatible with SODE jetways either. Swings and roundabouts for that one. Full compatibility with AI traffic though. Full dynamic lighting support for Prepared V4. But what is interesting though is that this one release gives you full compatibility with FSX, FSX Steam Edition, Prepared V3, V4, and FS9. So this still, FS9 is still soldiering on. For all these people sort of saying that, you must go to Prepared and all the rest of it, don't forget guys, FS9 runs really, really well. It really does. So great to see that there are some developers still developing for it. That's really cool. If you are wanting to pick this one up, this one's coming up, as I said, available now from Sim Market, coming in at $18 US or your original equivalent, available now. And the other release for a Japanese airport this week, so we saw the release of Kansai International Airport, so Romeo Juliet Bravo Bravo. Now this comes to us from BDO Aviation. Now BDO Aviation have been lurking around for quite a number of years now, but they have focused pretty much almost exclusively on Indonesian airports since they've been going. So an Indonesian-based developer, very much focused on providing a lot of very high quality freeware and donationware, and as well as a couple of payware experiences previously as well. So yeah, they've got a very skilled developer coming to us here to bring us their foray into Japan. This is again their first foray into Japan. Now this pricing though is completely different. So this is the sort of higher end of the price point. So we're looking at $30 US for their rendition of Kansai International. Kansai International is an artificial island in Osaka Bay off Honshu, and was actually designed to actually relieve the overcrowding at Osaka. So Osaka was then, so once this airport was opened, all international services now come here into Kansai, whereas all domestic services go into Osaka. So it's sort of very much a sort of very almost just there for the international traffic, and it's a very interesting approach to, as I said, coming off onto an artificial island. Now this one does come through a very highly detailed rendition of the airport as it appears at the end of 2017, including custom polygons, custom modeling, and the fact that sort of getting that idea of the custom island, the man-made island, really renditions really nicely. Very highly detailed renditions of the very highly detailed textures for the buildings and for the taxiways and runways as well. Full and custom airport vehicles have been included with this one as well. Full compatibility with AI traffic, and something that I really like to see as well is you've got full reflectivity in the glass, and you've also got the fact that it is actually built, has many of the airport buildings, especially the glass ones, you can actually see inside it. They've actually modeled the inside of the buildings. So again, I like that detail here. They still managed to do it so it looks like apparently it is fairly FPS friendly. Again, haven't actually got it in a sim myself, so I can't see that one. But the dynamic lighting looks pretty good now. Or sorry, the lighting looks pretty good. Now, what's interesting about this release though, and what I was kind of surprised, is the fact that these guys, BODE, seem to have not jumped on the Prepared V4 bandwagon. So at the moment this is available for FSX and Prepared V3, and is currently not specifically compatible for V4. Whether they will patch that into the future, I'm not sure. I couldn't find any more details about that from their press release or from their website. So we'll have to see if it does in the future. But if you are say FSX or a Prepared V3 user, then you can pick this one up now. Coming in, as I said, I think it might be a little on the high side on the price, specifically because it's primarily the airport. It does do some of the surrounding city, but it is primarily just for the airport. So coming in at $30 US, available now from Sim Market, available now. Alrighty, in other ESP platform releases this week, we saw the release from the guys over Digital Design of the Tenerife South Airport. So Golf Charlie Tango Sierra. So Tenerife South Reina Sofia Airport is one of the two international airports located on the island of Tenerife. So it comes through. Tenerife, of course, is a very, very popular tourist destination for pretty much anyone wanting to escape the cold of Europe. And it's not surprising that we've got a few renditions of this airport lurking around in the system. Now, this is the latest one. Now, this one's looking really detailed. I must admit that not only have they gone for the airport, and this goes back to what I was just saying before with Pearson Field, is the fact that I really appreciate when developers go that extra mile to actually not just do the airport but do the surrounding area. Now these guys have done here, Digital Design seems like they've gone really, really beyond here by doing a custom high resolution mesh of the island, custom terrain coverage of the airport and the surrounding city, and pretty much most of the island of Tenerife as well. Custom airport vehicles and objects, including animated airport vehicles and vehicular traffic in the town surrounding it. High resolution ground textures for the airport and the surrounding areas. Custom 3D night lighting, custom dynamic lighting, as well as full support for SOD gateways and GSX docking system. So it's insane the amount of stuff and the amount of effort these guys have gone into for this one. It is just absolutely incredible. Now, what is interesting for this one though, of course, this one is only for Prepared v4. Now, there's no word yet on if they will be releasing an alternative version for Prepared v3 users or for FSX users, but for the time being it is available only for Prepared v4 to take full advantage of the custom of the dynamic lighting and the custom modeling for that they're offering with that. So very cool to see, very impressive looking scenery, it really is. Again, though I haven't put it in the sim myself, but from the screenshots that I've been sent, it does look pretty damn amazing. So if you are wanting to pick this one up, you can pick this one up now from Sim Market for a really, considering what's gone into this one and from what the screenshots look like, I'm quite impressed. Coming in at until less than 20 years, so $19 US, or your regional equivalent, available now. Alright, continuing on with the ESP platforms, moving sideways into FSX Steam Edition for a moment. So the guys over at Carinado have decided to have rebooted their, well, not really rebooted, but their Mooney M20J for FSX. Now, interestingly enough, this was actually one of the first releases Carinado ever did. So that's going back a really long time. Now, previously they haven't actually updated it for the other platforms. It sort of languished a little bit, but now they've decided to update it for our F6 Steam Edition and release it over on the Steam Marketplace. Now, I've got a couple of mixed feelings about this. It seems that normally Carinado, when they reboot their content and they update it, they do give it an overhaul and give it a good solid update. Not just sort of, repackaging it. They actually sort of, update gauges, update textures, things like that, and push it out. This time, however, they don't seem to have done that. You can really tell this was their very early work. The cockpit uses default FSX gauges, not the custom Carinado stuff that we're used to seeing for pretty much the last 3 or 4 years, at least the last 4 years. So I've got mixed feelings about this. It seems that it's almost like they got lazy and just decided they hadn't got round to doing an update, or they just couldn't be bothered. They've updated most of their back catalogue at some point over the last couple of years and made it when they've been making it compatible with the F6 Steam Edition and Prepared V3 and V4. Even V2, and they'd sort of give it a coat of paint, update some gauges, update some files, update some lights, and blah blah blah, and then reboot it. But this time they haven't, and it shows. It really shows it's their early work. I mean, we're still looking at still a great aircraft, but I just feel that this was a missed opportunity, and they were just trying to push this one out the door. So I've got mixed feelings about this one. It is, as I said, you can either pick this one up. As I said, it's been available from the Carinado web store and normal flight simulation retailers for some time, but it is not officially compatible with F6 Steam Edition or anything else. So the Steam Edition version is being sold through the Steam store It is cheaper than buying it from other retailers and from Carinator directly, coming in at $20 instead of 25. But as I said, I'm going to straight up say probably avoid this one, because it's just, until Carinator actually update it, it still shows that it's one of their early products. So sorry guys, Carinator, I normally love your work, I really do, but I'm a little disappointed with this one, just saying. Anyway, if you do want to pick it up, though, it is available for F6 Steam Edition for $20 from the Steam Edition store, or for your standard boxed edition, or you can purchase it from the Carinator web store at $25 available now. Alright, moving out of the ESP world and into the world of X-Plane, but sticking with Carinato. So Carinato have released their F33A Bonanza into the X-Plane 11 world, and they've already done almost like a day one patch as well. So this one's come out... they did this for the ESP Platforms many years ago, but have now brought it across into X-Plane 11, exclusively for X-Plane 11. Does not work with X-Plane 10. It has full introduction of the full use of the dynamic PBR lightings and texture system. It is also fully VR compatible with the latest X-Plane 11 release, of course, being a full support for VR native services. Updated engine dynamics and full flight physics and ground handling adapted for X-Plane 11. Full, as I said, full physically based rendering of materials and textures throughout the aircraft, internal and exterior as well. Full use of the X-Plane default X-Plane GNS 430, but does support Reality XP's GTN 750 for those who do use it as well. Otherwise, pretty stock standard that we see for Carinato. Good, solid, really good quality looking external model. With 5 high-definition liveries and 1 high-definition blank texture in there as well for custom livery creation. Full rendition of the KFC 150 autopilot, that is of course default of the aircraft, as well as all the checks and procedures as usual. This one you can pick up from either Carinato directly or from your favourite flight sim retailer, coming in at about $27, or your regional equivalent available now. Alright, sticking again with Flight Sim World, but moving on to Flight Simulation, but moving into another platform. So we saw this is actually one I missed from last week. I do apologise. As I was like sort of finishing off the news, this one was announced and I did miss it. So we saw the release last week of a campaign for the L39 Albatross. So this is the Cursant campaign. Now I must say that the L39 has to be, at the moment, is still my favorite module. I absolutely love this aircraft. It is really cool. I love the fact that it offers the dual cockpit. You can actually share a cockpit, share the one aircraft with a front and rear pilot. I love the fact that how detailed it's done, and having sat in a real one, I haven't flown in a real one, but having sat in a real one, I can definitely swear that it looks and feels like the real thing. So there you go. But yes, this campaign is the Cursant campaign. It's a single-player campaign for the L39C and ZA, which is the armed sort of combat variant. Now, this includes a whole heap of training sort of designed to actually go beyond the basic training that you get with the module, and gives you a whole heap of different other things as well. Now, you go through some basic and advanced procedures, including low altitude navigation, aerial reconnaissance techniques and tactics, detailed guidance on how to actually use bomb, rocket and gun weapon deliveries, and airborne interceptions using gun and air-to-air missiles. Beyond that, you also have 11 highly detailed campaign missions as well, which are actually based on the training requirements. Doing that. So essentially, but by the way, Cursant essentially means cadet. So it is actually being sort of, it's about a flight school thing. So it's kind of like a training campaign, but gives you something to actually give you the most out of the actual system, which is the actual module, which is, again, and I like these training campaigns. I think that there are some people sort of say, oh, but it's not blowing stuff in combat and all the rest of it. I'm like, well, you know what? It's like real life aviation. You have to start somewhere. You have to start with the basics, and this is the kind of stuff that you need. And I think, it'd be great to see one of these for all the modules, where you actually sort of go through and actually learn the finer points of your aircraft that you're flying, because one of the things that we all know from DCS is that it's insanely detailed, which can be good and bad at the same time. So there you go. So if you are wanting to pick this one up, this one is available from the DCS web store, coming in at $10, or your regional equivalent available now. Alrighty, moving out of the flight simulation world, moving into the world of the permanent way. So we saw a few releases for Train Simulator this week. So we saw the first one we saw was the release of the Salt Lake City route expansion for Train Simulator 2018. Now, this is an add-on for this is an add-on to an add-on. Does that make sense? So what this does is there's the previous released route was the Soldier Summit route, and what this does is this actually sort of goes through and adds on an extra an extra lot of 44 miles of track to go from Provo to Salt Lake City. And sort of it joins in with the Soldier Summit route for part of it. So it actually gives you, in total, you end up with about 120 miles of Western Railroads scenery to be included with that. But as I said, this is an extension that goes through to Salt Lake City itself, and of course models the big city, the big smoke in there as well. So it's an interesting little sort of expanded route. So this particular part of the expanded route is set during the 1980s. And goes through, delivers the full experience of the Rio Grande's 6th subdivision, and goes through to actually give you that increased immersive experience of the terrain. Now, along with it, it also includes some locomotives as well. You get the EMD SD40T2 and the GP9 locomotives, as well as some freight equivalent as are included with the Soldier Summit set. Also includes Amtrak's EMD F40PH diesel and Superliner sets, so you can actually go through and do some passenger services as well. As I said, it's a route that does traffic with both passenger and freight. So no matter what your sort of your train simulating desire, something will be covered here. As I said, it is an add-on to an add-on, so you do require the Soldier Summit route add-on to be able to access all the content in here. As always, you get some career scenarios. You get 7 career scenarios in here, detailing various parts and various things of the new, showcasing parts of the new terrain and the trains, as well as giving you some amazing visuals for that as well. Said if you are wanting to pick this one up, this one is available now from Steam. You can pick this one up for $16 for this one, or if you're needing to pick up the Soldier Summit route as well, you're actually offering a bundle deal where you save about 25%, picking that up for $42 US, available now. In other train simulator releases this week, so we saw another release for the Pro range of trains with the release of the LMS Stainer Class 5 steam locomotive. So this was the Black 5 series was a set of trains built sort of in the 1930s, designed for long distance travel. So to actually go through to London, the Midlands, and Scotland. So it's definitely about sort of that high speed, or as high speed as it was back then, to actually go through and actually get people passengers and cargo across the countryside as fast as possible in those days. Now there was over 800 of them built and in service at one point. However, they after the 1940s, after the Second World War, they fell in with the emergence of diesel engines and electrification. It actually very quickly fell into disrepair and obsolescence, and would actually end up being scrapped. However, 18 did manage to survive and actually go on to this one to go through, and actually would end up being used. Initially, they were used for sort of some of the more regional routes, and then would actually go on to the hands of preservation and railway museums. Now this one it gives us, including, as I said, this is one of the Pro series, and actually gives a whole that's very more highly detailed scenario for this one, and gives a whole heap of liveries, very realistic simulation of the brake system, the cast iron tread brake, as well as brake phase, fully done through here as well. They do include both legacy, sort of like the old original style of cabin, as well as a modernized cabin, which actually does have radio equipment and more modern safety equipment has been included, as the preserved examples have. Otherwise, is it full dynamic modeling of the steam system, the boiler system and everything that you need to actually go through with a steam train. Whole start through here, including cold and dark. Is it still called cold and dark for trains? It was called, no, it was a cold start simulation of that one, and a whole heap of animations. Beyond that, you do also include 10 career scenarios for this one. However, a couple of things so for you to be aware of that, if you get to be able to use all of the career scenarios that are included with this train, you do need to have some other routes as well. You need to have the West Highland route, the Settle to Carlisle route, and the North Wales coastal route to be able to make use of these career scenarios. So the train itself is sort of independent, but yeah, to make use of the actual career scenarios, you do need to have some additional content, so just bear that in mind. If you want to pick this one up, as I said, this one's available now, coming in at $20 US, available now on Steam. And rounding out the simulation release news for this week, so we saw the release of a couple of the Train Simulator Marketplace with the Great Western Rail Churchwood Panel Top Lights pack. So this is essentially a rolling stock pack, two rolling stock packs that have been released for the Great Western Rail in their old Churchwood panels, which is that sort of cream red and black sort of livery that was very, very distinctive of GWR throughout its lifetime. Now, this the first pack, the pack 5, includes various coaches, including C31 full third, D47 brake third, left and right hand, E88 composite carriages, brake composite carriage, composite slip, and a full brake carriage. While pack 6 includes the C29 full third, bars 1 and 2, D51 brake third, left and right, E93 composite left and right, and an 11 brake rolling stock as well. So if you wanted to add some more rolling stock to your scenario and these very distinctive logos, color schemes, these are available for $5 US each, available now on Steam. Alrighty folks, and with that does round out, as I said, the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me on all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.